Hello and welcome to another Life Writing with CJ Spotlight. With me is one of my closest sister friends, Dawn Burns. Hey, Dawn, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm so glad to have you on the show. Hey,
I'm
let's
glad to
go.
be here.
Self care awareness, that's one of those loaded terms, right? But you were one of the people I thought about when it comes to caring for self, because you're working out, you're juggling family, you're working, just all these different things, right? And it takes a lot of self-care to pull that off. God knows that. But we want to hear from you. So let's go ahead and get started with a few questions, okay?
All right, let's go.
So first things first, what comes to mind, Don, when you think of self-care in particular?
I would say pampering, health, nutrition, fitness, and mental health. And a lot of times people laugh at me, but I would say hygiene as
Ooh, yes.
overall. But it's a whole thing behind it, but hygiene is like almost number one for me of self-care.
What are some of the things that you do?
So I actually schedule my routines, my self care, my pampering daily, weekly, 6 weeks, and so forth. So every week I will sit there and schedule what I need for that time. So I do schedule my hair appointments. I schedule my nail appointments, things like that. So I do wake up early. I do work out every day for the most part. I take my supplements. I have like a face routine that I do daily. And it might sound funny, but with the hygiene, I do schedule my showers, my extra time in the showers for my hygiene on Saturdays. So that's very important. That's my time. No kids. Give me that extra 20 minutes. Now I do shower daily. But you sometimes you don't have that extra time to shave your legs every day or to do your entire face regimen every day. So Saturday is my dedicated time. And my husband knows that that's my time for my 20, 30-minute showers. So that's my time alone. That's my husa at least once a week. So I do schedule that. And it does sound funny, but I'm a mom of four and I don't have time to shower besides like hurry up and wash and get out. So
Absolutely.
and that's almost every day during the week. So this is my time. I do make sure that everything is scheduled, like I said, just so that I have my own self care. And my
Hmm.
husband is always on me. When's your appointment? When are you doing this? Because it's important because we tend to lose ourselves if we don't.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Ooh, ooh. And part of what you just said, you mentioned your husband several times. Kudos to Clement. Having a support cast, especially when you have a lot of other things going on, the kids and such, and their routines and extracurricular activities. I mean, oh my God, that's another podcast in a segment in itself, right?
yes.
No, but yeah, just having a support cast. And Don, I'm gonna touch on this real quickly. That extra time in the shower. Now, I don't schedule it per se, but I do that, and I found out how important that extra time dedicated to yourself can be. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and I will give my kudos to my husband because after I had my last son, I did let myself go.
Okay.
I didn't have my face regimen. I didn't have my self care days. And he was like, well, why don't you put the money for your hair on on our budget? Or why don't you budget your nails every 2 weeks? And me, I'm
Yes.
like, the kids need this, kids need that, or like I want to put it in savings. Like I'm not justifying that.
Right.
But he pushed me and pushed me. He's like, Dawn, you can't do this. But
Okay.
as a female, like, and I'm sure men too, like when you groom and you
Right.
get your hair cut, you feel great.
Right.
And as a female like me, when I shave my legs, I'm like, oh, I'm this powerful woman just by shaving my legs.
Right.
Like this is how I feel. So that when I get my hair done, my nails done, I feel great. So and the energy gives it off to your family as well. So kudos to my husband for sitting there just pushing me to
I,
sit there and
absolutely. And what you just hit another golden nugget. Um, it the energy. You
mhm.
feel good like Dion, right? I'm gonna throw my Dion prime time in there. You look good. you feel good, you play good kind of thing, right? You mentioned that energy is emitted to the family and throughout the family, and that's very important. Wow. Another
Yep.
segment we may need to talk about.
Yes.
So you mentioned the kids, you mentioned, your husband, the support cast and everything you have, but you're juggling, a couple things like just motivation in itself. Like, what do you do to stay motivated, if anything?
Um, More or less, I push myself every day to work out. Even though the days that I don't want to do them, I do them because it pushes you for that motivation.
Hmm.
That's my mental push.
Hmm.
I do make things a habit of like scheduling, meal prepping, things like that for motivation. So it's more like a goal setting that I do. My children motivate me. I do a lot of support groups for other women with my
Mm.
fitness and everything like that because we
Hmm.
all go through something. We all can relate somehow. We all have children.
Hmm.
We know that some days you can't do this or do that, but they push you to sit there and be like, okay, it's okay that you're not doing this. And there's things that we push ourselves so much that we forget that it's okay not to do it. So you have that
Ooh.
support system and not I don't do it as much as I should, but I listen to motivational speeches.
Okay. Yeah.
Like on my way to the way to work or something like that,
Hmm. Hmm.
or a way home or something like that, or if, me and my husband listen to it when we're getting ready for on a Saturday or something together.
Hmm.
So it's when you do personal development is really, really, really key for me
Yeah.
because my husband's a man, I'm a woman, so we have different aspects. So it's different motivation and personal development is a little bit different for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
motivational
absolutely.
speeches definitely help us.
So, Don, I appreciate that response. You touched on several key things there, because I was going to ask you a question, some, something along the lines of how you juggle it all. You kind of just touched on some of that. Do you want to expand on that in any way?
So, with juggling everything,
Yeah, just juggling all those obligations.
so my response to that is that you can't. Okay, so
Mm.
I feel like you can't. It's a struggle.
Hmm.
I feel like you can take one day at a time. Like I used to focus on everything and I had to get every single last thing done, or I felt like I was a failure.
Hmm.
So, like to me, like I learned, and actually recently, it's more like probably I would say like the past 6, 7 months, I would
Uh-huh.
say I learned that it's okay to not do everything. And it's okay to focus only what you did do and not the negative of what you didn't do.
I like
So,
that.
like, if you have 10 things that are on your list to do and you only did two of them, that's better than nothing. So, even if you couldn't get nothing done, but doesn't mean you didn't try. So, it's okay to not do them. And I feel like being prioritized and um, being organized is a big key that I try to do. Like I said, I schedule things weekly, but I can't get everything done. It's a struggle to prioritize your children, your family, your house, your work, sports, things like that. It's just you can't.
Wow.
You just can't. Like I really can't. And
Don,
if someone says that they can, kudos,
I, I, I,
kudos.
I would sit here and say, and I, okay, for the record, I know using the word, juggling, it all, right, is kind of a play on words because in any given day, there's a litany of things that you have to do. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, be it personal, work related, let alone family at the beginning and end of every day. So yeah, what you just shared though did kind of give me some insight with respect to how you juggle it all. And if I may, one of my biggest takeaways from what you said is just accepting the fact that you can't get everything done, right? Now we're prioritizing those things that we absolutely have to get done without even thinking about it. But I like your approach on that. I
So
like
I
that.
do have like this organized thing that it does help. So you can, get it off of Amazon. It's like a
Uh-huh.
checklist. It's a daily checklist, and it actually has the time, like from 5 a.m. all the way until like 12 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you organize your day by time. So I was doing that, and it helped because I'm like, all right, I checked off what I was doing. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm waking up, I'm going to work. I blocked this out for work.
Yeah.
Do this, do that, do that. And I want to clean. I need to do dishes, blah, blah, blah. But if you didn't get it done, you just put it on tomorrow's list.
Just put it on
And
tomorrow's
I did
list.
that every night. So it would help. And that helped me to like, okay, Dawn, it's not okay. Cause I used to beat myself up.
I know, I know.
Like I'm like, it's
So many of us do though.
yeah. And I'm still learning that it's okay.
It's okay. Now, a lot of what you just said then with the Amazon thingy or what have you, be it software or whatever. Now, see that sounds like a lot of how I manage my work task and assignments, right? But the latter of what you said though, when you cannot get it done that particular day, even though you've had to push it or bump it for 2 days in a row, you still push it to the next day. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna get done because when it needs to absolutely get done, it's gonna get done.
Mhm, yeah.
So you dropped a lot of wisdom in there, a lot of insights. I always like ending or close to closing out a segment with, you know, inspirational words or recommendations or what have you, right? So, any last insights? You shared several. Any last insights when it comes to self care that you want to share?
So I'm very, and again, after my son, it's been 2 years. So I'm still learning even at like 37 years old. So
Oh, it never stops.
there's, it's never, you never stop learning of what you can and can't do.
Hmm.
But I feel like it is important for self care and wellness, health, pampering, hygiene, whatever it is. But I do have to say that I learned that you cannot take care of other people if you cannot take care of yourself. So like I said, I have 4 kids. How can I take care of my children if I'm sick? How can I take care of my children if I'm not mentally there? How can I show my children to be happy if I'm not happy? So it all starts with you. And even my husband was like, I'm the foundation of the home. So when I'm in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood. So the point is like you come first. Like the world like has this perception of your children come first, or God, your husband, your children, then you. In reality, again, if I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of my family. I can't go to work. I can't get up. I can't shower. So really, it's okay to be selfish. I My husband's like, like I said, he said, I'm the foundation. He was like, Dawn, you need to be selfish at times. And I'm not a selfish person. So it's
Ooh,
hard for me to be selfish,
right.
but I'm learning to be a little selfish, and that's okay.
And I, selfish. The word selfish and selfishness have such a negative connotation that when people use it, even in the manner in which you used it, people, I don't know, it doesn't sound right. But no, no, you're not being selfish per se. You're just taking care of yourself because,
You.
like you said, if you're broken down and need care from top to bottom, how in the world are you going to effectively assist any one of your kids, your husband, and so on and so forth?
Yeah. And one more thing, it's like if you, again, I'm not a man, so I can't really,
Hmm.
speak on that part, but having 4 kids, you do get postpartum depression. You do get overwhelmed. You do get depressed at times. You do
Right.
lose yourself. So if you don't take care of yourself, then even as a man, you do fall down. Like you do, and it's hard to get up. Like
Absolutely.
you lose motivation, you lose self care, you lose yourself, and that's something that again I'm still learning. And
Hmm.
as a mom, I have lost myself like quite a few times. I've been divorced. I lost myself. I
Right.
had my other children. I lost myself.
Hmm.
And my last son, 2 years ago, I lost myself. I let
Right.
myself go, and
Right.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to stay focused. There's resources out there for all men and women, and it's
Absolutely.
just a matter if you want to actually go get it.
Thanks again for joining me, Don. And to the audience, oh boy, those nuggets, those nuggets, those nuggets. I thank you guys for your continued support of Life Writing with CJ, where information is shared, information like this is shared in hopes to help you live the life you desire. Take care.